Cool.
Sweet. Simon is back, and he's
Hey.
going to present you the Steam page for Wardens.
Yeah. It's really. I am going to present this, and hopefully also I have some time for showing what I've been working on for Main the Vikings as well. But really, it's a Steam page. I put the page live, and yeah. If you don't know what Wardens is, it's basically a card game where you create the cards and you create the abilities and essentially even the game rules, right? You can make, like you could make chess, you could make Hearthstone, you could probably even make, or will be able to make poker in Wardens. And like you will be able to join a bunch of lobbies with all these different types of games. And it's supposed to be like super crazy and moddable. That's Wardens. And Steam page is live. And we have put out an announcement for the first alpha test. So if you go here and you fill out the form, we are going to have a alpha test in 5 weeks. But yeah, so sign up. That's about what I want to show for Wardens. Is there any questions? Trailer? Yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah. Since everyone will be creating their own games, do you plan to have some sort of tutorial system that creators can do for players to learn their games?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will have like this. What you see now is kind of the default game mode. So people will be introduced to that and be able to create their own cards to that game mode, and then like progressively add their own stuff and maybe even create their own game mode after a while. But that will kind of be the default, and then people can diverge as they feel comfortable.
Actually, my question was for the players of the games.
Mhm.
Will they get a tutorial how to play the custom rules that people will?
Oh, yeah, no. Depends, right? They're gonna get a tutorial for this default game mode, and then when it's up to the creator of the new game mode to introduce the players to it. I think we're gonna leave that very much up to the creators. Yeah.
So to which extent is the cards customizable? Is like you can upload your own art and put on cards?
Yeah. You can. We have this kind of like pseudo coding language for the abilities, and we want to make it like. It should be pretty much like almost like broken, so that you can like. We want to have the players to have as much creativity as possible. So we want to like. It's going to be hard to make it not buggy, but we feel like if they can probably self-regulate in that way. So they are given a lot of power through the pseudocode language. Mm-hmm.
Is this basically like Gary's mod for the card games?
I haven't played Garry's Mod, but my original idea was like Warcraft 3 lobby, Battle.net lobby, like where you have tons and tons of different game modes, and it's just you learn Warcraft 3 through the default game mode, but then you have all this like insane like new games that you can play if you just go online. That was the original idea.
Mm-hmm.
Given your earlier examples, would you consider poker more difficult to implement than Hearthstone?
Yeah, yeah. It's like because that's fundamentally like a different format. Right now, it's like built like everything that kind of resembles chess is very easy to implement in the game right now, and then we continuously expand the possibilities from there.
That was less funny than I thought it would be.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
What's the pricing for Wardens?
$20.
$20. Okay.
Yeah. So we didn't want to make it free to play because then we need to think about like, okay, how do we monetize this? And then we need to add these kind of retention mechanics. And it started gravitating towards this kind of competitive type of game with like ladder and shit. And that made it very hard for people to customize. And that's kind of why I think card games in general are so like, since most of them are free to play, it's very hard to add like user created game modes and stuff like that. So that's kind of why we went with paid. I am also working on a game called Mind the Vikings. It's basically like Banished but with Vikings. So you raid and you get attacked and stuff like that. It was my first ever indie project, but I burnt out working on it, so I never finished it. And now I've come back with a vengeance and I'm ready to finish it. Yes. And this is Adam's music, by the way. He just made this. Oh, it actually kind of works on the laptop. So I've had like... So you recruit Vikings like this. In the final version, I want them to actually organically like get reproduce. But I'm not there yet. Yes. And you can kind of like pick them up and drag them like this to assign them to resources. And he doesn't want to. That's a bug, don't worry. And one of the primary like ideas with the game was that we wanted it to be very free-form building. So you can build these kind of spline roads and then kind of form your village along the roads like this. Yes, they just get like expanded on the z-axis. That's how it works in real life, right?
I'm stealing that fast.
Inflatable big buildings.
Yeah, and let's see if the idea is that you need to build defenses and like recruit guards and stuff. It's not implemented yet. In order to defend against raids that might happen during the night. And then you can send Vikings out as well in order to like either just get more resources or find thralls or rare resources that you can't find on your island. Yep.
These raids, are they passive or they're actively like RTS controlled?
No, you don't. It's I can show you. Let's see. It's just UI essentially, and then you get a result back. Okay, it's not working perfectly fine. And this like dragging thing might be a little bit unintuitive for a lot of people, especially when it's lagging like this. But I'm gonna add like so you can do it through the UI as well. Okay, right. I'm gonna speed this up. So you get like a prompt saying if you want to go raid, and then you have a list of all the nearby islands, and you have this like unknown thing that you need to go scout. But you can here you can see like okay, Odendal, there's only 4 people and they're level 2, so I can probably take them on. And then you just assign Vikings to go on a raid, and then they come back after a few days with a result. So like if they died, you get a like prompt saying, oh, they died. Or they bring back resources or thralls. And yeah, I'm not going to build an entire village, but yeah, you can do that. it's a very slow game. It's not supposed to be very fast. Like my idea is that I want it to be a survival game, but I want it to also be like kind of meditative, like a very relaxed, like just creative, like village building game with some strategy elements. Yeah, that's it. Any questions?
Are you doing the art assets, or how are you putting the art together?
I try to find as much as possible for free or cheap, and then I kind of modify them to fit together. So some of these are just stuff I bought straight up. Some of them are kind of half, like I made the textures perhaps, I redid the tree somehow. But mostly it's like I don't think I've done any of the art from scratch. Yeah.
So is there gonna be something like siege travel, or like you can build your boats?
Yeah, you're gonna be able to build boats and go on bigger sieges, and it will also be part of the defense. And it's good. It's going to matter if you build up on a mountain, it's going to be harder for other people to raid you, but it's also going to be harder for you because then you can't like easily go fishing. So it's part of a trade-off. All right, then that was it.